What are you going to do? How is written your opinion pieces? You should do those
I do them.
more than me. Like statue of
Not much time. I see to most of them.
We donate about 10, even 20 is okay. All right.
Sure.
What are you saying?
Morning, honorable members. Morning, Chair. Morning, honorable Chair. Good morning, our important esteemed guests. And thank you for joining us today. Can we have a volunteer to lead us in a prayer so that we can start? Thank you.
We need your presence and we need that. We need you to give us direction. We thank you and we pray in the mighty name and the blood of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much for the wonderful prayer. My name is Edmund Nkalatigwa. I represent Shurugwi South constituency in the Midlands province, and I'm the chairperson of the Mines and Mining Development Portfolio Committee in the Parliament of Zimbabwe. Allow me to give this time to honorable members here present to introduce themselves, starting from the honorable on my extreme left.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Anel Ndebele. I represent the people of Makweto in Bulawayo.
Good morning to you all. My name is Kashire Cecil. I represent the people of Makweto constituency.
Good morning to you all. My name is Marco Raidza. I'm a member of parliament from the Rwanda constituency in the Midlands province. Thank you.
Good morning to you all. My name is Dumezwe Mawite, MP for Shavani constituency.
Good morning. My name is Shautafana, Member of Parliament from the Rwanda constituency. Thank you.
Yes, good morning. My name is James Chidagwa. I'm the citizens representative of Maputo Park. Thank you.
Political party.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Judith Tobayo, Member of Parliament from the Central Constituency.
Makadini mweshe Zero kono pastor daira Makadini mweshe Salvona Ndonke Ibizolami Prosper Chafua Mteami Melela Shikamadama Mbura constituency Emanika province Siawa Umagakulu Yatenda Mashuma. Thank you.
A very good morning all. My name is Fani Munengami.
I represent a constituency called Glen here in Harare. Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Chikwinya Settlement, Member of Parliament from this constituency in the Midlands.
Good morning to you all. My name is John Akamazolo. I'm from Parliament constituency in Harare district.
Good morning. My name is Ndobozi Manu. I represent Slovenia, the province and also Thank you.
Masuka vanti ndine zina ranga richedwa Besimiranzi ndine MP wa kuMashi West Dalunga.
Good morning. My name is Catherine Gosho, MP for Midlands.
Good morning to you all. Igama lami Jasmine Tofa, ngingu-MP wokobulawayo Jikelele kuNtuthu Ziyathunga.
Thank you, honorable members. I now ask staff of the Parliament to introduce themselves.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Evelyn Masana, and play to the Portfolio Committee of Good morning, everyone. I'm with the Parliament.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Pastor of Parliament.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Abigail Ndoka, Parliament staff.
Thank you very much. I want to recognize all of you, our participants, our key stakeholders to this public hearing. And because there are so many of us, I will accord you an opportunity to introduce yourself during the session. I will allow you to raise your hand. If we pick on you, you first of all say out your name and the organization that you represent before you present your views. I hope it's in order. Once again, greetings and a very good day to all our distinguished participants. By way of opening remarks, let me welcome all of you to this consultative process meeting on the amendment of the Mines and Minerals Act. This act was crafted and operationalized since 1961. The main critic leveled against it is it was meant to serve and advance the interests of the then colonialists. The act has, however, undergone limited reviews ever since. From that time to this day, there has been several topical issues which emerged in the mining sector that has also been transitioning in line with new developments and expectations across the country. Key issues that the bill gave attention to include need for the recognition of artisanal and small-scale miners, tackling the complicated farmer-miner relationship, and the sustainable inclusion of disadvantaged groups. Previously, disadvantaged groups are identified as youth, women, and the disabled, while many other issues are also included in the bill. At the moment, the mining sector is the mainstay of the country's economy. It accounts for about 68% of the country's export receipts and employs more than 45,000 people directly and more than 500,000 artisanal and small-scale miners As you may be aware, the sector has set a target of United States dollars 12 billion that was meant to be achieved by 2023. The committee, in the same respect, has been assured by the Minister of Mines and Mining Development that this target will be achieved through various legislative and policy interventions. These interventions include the review of the Mines and Minerals Act, the Gold Trade Act, and the Precious Stones Trade Act. The review of the Gold Trade Act and the Precious Stones Trade Act are currently on hold, awaiting disposal of the Mines and Minerals Amendment Bill. The Mines and Minerals Act is the principal law that governs the mining industry, and that is why sequentially the review of the Mines and Minerals Act had to take precedence over the reviews of the other sector-specific laws already mentioned. I'm glad that the Mines Bill is finally here with us for consideration by all the stakeholders, and in respect of this, we are giving you the liberty to contribute your views with us as is common in all constructive democracies. These collective processes are important for fostering peace, unity, and guaranteed prosperity among all progressive Zimbabweans and all good-willed stakeholders towards the attainment of Vision 2030. I will now articulate the course of action the committee is taking in the process of reviewing this law. This bill was gazetted on the 3rd of February 2023. On the 5th to the 8th of February 2023, we held a capacity building workshop to unpack the bill in a bid to fully understand and identify any further loopholes in the bill. Several issues emerged as a result, and these were mainly for consideration by the Minister of Mines and the Attorney General's Office, who are the drafters of this bill. From the 20th to the 24th of February 2023, the committee held 2 consultative meetings with the key stakeholders in the mining sector. One of these meetings was held here in Harare, representing the northern region, while the other one was held in Bulawayo area, which formed the southern region. These meetings were attended specifically by key representatives of major sectorial interest groups, technical people, legislators, and sector-related experts. The processes have been very useful in that the stakeholders made recommendations that they want incorporated in the bill. Now, from today, the 27th February to the 10th of March 2023, the committee will be holding public hearings in the 10 provinces across the country. Everyone with interest in the mining sector has been invited to attend, and today you are invited to also actively participate. These public hearings are held in line with Section 141 of the Constitution of the Citizens of Zimbabwe in all its lawmaking, specifically Standing Order 143, subsection 1 says, and I quote, "Every bill must stand referred to the appropriate portfolio committee after publication in the Gazette, and the committee shall have 14 business days for presentation of its report at second reading in Parliament." Close quote. With that background, I want to encourage you all to take advantage of this process and make your input known and clear to all present so that any expected adjustments to the bill are captured effectively during this window period that is presented to every Zimbabwean as provided and in law. Once the portfolio committee completes the consultation process, it will compile a report with recommendations which will be forwarded to the executive. At the committee stage of the reading of the bill in the House, amendments advanced, including through these processes, will be brought forward for consideration. The Minister of Mines and Mining Development, individual members of Parliament, and the Portfolio Committee on Mines and Mining Development will propose for these amendments representing the general citizens' views in line with the representative democracies. At this stage, all appropriate input from the public will largely be considered for incorporation and be actually incorporated into the bill as agreed. After the committee stage, the bill is then read for the third time and then it is sent to the Senate for further consideration. When both houses complete their consideration of the bill, it is then conveyed to the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe for his further consideration and subsequent assent. After approval by both Parliament and the President, the bill becomes and is enrolled, joining the cortege of other laws of our land. In conclusion, I would like to encourage you all to participate in this process actively and freely, respectfully, giving each other a chance and ensuring that the process is constructive enough to turn over to the ground rules which, from the tradition conduct of this public hearing in our country, so we are all in Parliament. As we begin the hearings, it is important for the Speaker. Who am I calling the Speaker? Is the person who is going to raise his hand and is going to be accorded the chance to make his submissions, to introduce themselves before making any submissions, since all proceedings shall be recorded verbatim by the answers department. Time allocated to each presenter shall be an average of 5 minutes. Of course, we'll have flexibility depending on the issue at hand, and in the interest of giving each and every one of you a chance to make their presentations, we may reduce the time limit. Participants can use any of the official languages of Zimbabwe as provided for in the Constitution. This gathering constitutes a sitting of Parliament, and therefore participants are protected by the privileges, immunities and powers of Parliament Act Chapter 2.08 in terms of any views they submit. The role of honorable members here present is to listen and speak only to seek clarification. Committee members are not allowed to applaud. Even new participants, you are not allowed to applaud, indicate pleasure, displeasure with anyone's remarks. On the other hand, the gathering is also not expected to cheer or jeer or express displeasure with anyone's remarks or submissions. There are no views which are superior or inferior. We value all contributions. All those who will be putting on military uniforms, signs of ranks, flags or badges and political party regalia will not have access to the public hearing meeting. If you see any next to you within this gathering, please ask them to vacate this meeting, this room. The members of the public, interested groups and organizations who have written submissions and correspondences are welcome. Written submissions should be addressed to the Clerk of Parliament. Attention, the Portfolio Committee on Mines and Mining Development, PO Box CY 29830, Causeway, Harare. You can also make physical submission across the road. That's where our parliament is. Submissions can also be made by email through the following email address: clerk@powzim.gov.zw, clerk@parlzim.gov.zw. For further inquiries, you can also phone on the following numbers: 0242 700 181 up to 8 or 252 936 up to 49. We also have got a fax 04 252 935. You can also follow us on social media: Facebook, Parliament of Zimbabwe, https://www.facebook.com/Parliament of Zimbabwe of Zim / then Twitter @ParliamentZim, Instagram Parliament of Zimbabwe. I hope you are all clear. Yes. We can go into the business of the day. Who is going to be our icebreaker? The man in red.
Yes, thank you. Okay, thank you very much, our honorable MPs. Thank you very much, Mr.
Do you
Chairman.
introduce yourself first?
Created the ZCEO. It's a civic society organization registered with the laws of the country. I want to thank you, honorable members of parliament, for giving us this opportunity to interface with players in the mining sector. We have seen the proposed bill and we've got some grey areas where I want to raise some issues where you can make some improvements. Number one, Honorable Chairman, in the mining sector there's no security. The issue of Makorokozas, the machetes gang, this must be a priority number one. We have seen people being killed by machete gangs in the Midlands, and some warlords in the Midlands who declare that the mining sector is a no-go area. So I am proposing, Mr. Chairman, that a committee with members of parliament, a smaller committee with members of parliament present here, who are going to work with the police and the army to deal with the issue of machete gangs, because it nearly escalated into a real civil war in this country. So I am proposing a recommendation that the parliamentary standing orders and whatever committee come up with a smaller committee which is going to deal with the issue of security in the mining sector. Otherwise, there will be chaos in that area. Number two, Mr. Chairman, Section 96 of this proposed bill, prohibition against the sale, transfer, cession and assignment of EPL or EEL. Why should the minister interfere with the property rights? I have got the right to sell my claim if it is properly registered. There is no need for the bill to prohibit transfer of ownership in terms of claims. That one is a non-starter, Mr. Chairman. That has to be amended. Every person in Zimbabwe must be given the right to sell whatever, because this infringes upon property rights. I've got a right to sell whatever I own. If it is my house, I can sell my house to anyone. What's so special about a mining claim? That is Section 96. Section 212, no sale or alienation of precious stones or strategic minerals, location without approval of the minister. That is centralizing too much power in the minister. And we know that the minister belongs to a certain political party. He serves the interests of a certain political party. Now, under these circumstances, members of the opposition its interests are not going to be catered for, so that must be removed from the minister. Maybe that can be put in the Mining Affairs Board, not the minister, because the minister is a political animal. He serves the interests of his political party. He's putting on two jackets, the jacket of a minister of state and the jacket of a political animal belonging to a certain political party. The last but not least, Mr. Chairman, the definition of small-scale miners association. Of late, there's the Zimbabwe Mining Federation, who is, the president is Henrietta Shwaya. It has been, I think you have seen what is happening. The name of Mrs. Shwaya has been put into disrepute because of the scandals, and she continues to be a president of the association. Not many people are interested in being associated with such a person who is caught with gold at Harare International Airport, and that person remains the president of a mining association. Let's have many civic society organization. So if you can change the definition of small-scale miners association to CSOs, civic society organization, let's have many of them. Zimbabwe Miners Federation is not representing the interests of each and every Zimbabwean. We are not satisfied with their operations. There's a lot of corruption in that organization. So I cannot claim and be proud of being a member of Zimbabwe Miners Federation. So the last one, Mr. Chairman, also, the operations of the PMDs recently. We had in Marsh East, Mr. Chairman, the PMD is Mr. Kashiri, his deputy, Mr. Dagirai. There's an issue of our mining claims in Beatrice, which are situated in a farm owned by a war veteran. When we went there with the team from the Ministry of Mines, trying to access the farm owner categorically refused us entrance into the farm. He said, I fought for this country and nobody has got the right to peg in my mine. So we want to know, members of parliament, which act takes precedence, the Land Act and the Mines Act. That must be put clear, because the whole country is taken away by war veterans. They own the land, all the land in the country. And imagine a member of the opposition trying to peg a piece of mine claim in an area which is owned by a war veteran. That won't be possible. The mining issue in Zimbabwe has been heavily politicized. And this must stop. We've got chiefs and Sabukus who are politicizing everything. You go to Chiweshe there, you cannot peg there if you come from the opposition. That must come to an end. So we are demanding for improvement of the bill through the recommendations which I've made. But I think let's do justice to this so that every Zimbabwean can participate in the mainstream economic activities of this country. I fought for this country. Everybody fought for this country. Members of the opposition fought for this country. But when it comes to distribution of resources, it is being selected. So let's stop politicization of the mining activities in the country. Thank you very much.
Remain standing. I want to remind all the participants that let's focus on the mine bill. Otherwise, we miss the target. Our target is to come up with a law. And if we decide the track, we get it derailed and we'll come up with a clumsy law. You are raising pertinent issues, but you are not proffering solutions. Because you are here to actually listen to your views on perhaps the gaps that you have identified within the Mines Bill. I'm taking it you have read the Mines Bill as gazetted. And you must speak to the gaps that you feel there's room for improvement.
Okay.
Remember, we are making a law for the present and the future generation.
Yes.
Yeah. So the issues that you've raised, if you can actually be specific.
Okay.
For example, you touched on the issue of what takes precedence between the farmer and the miner.
Yes.
What do you want to see?
Okay.
We want your views around that issue.
Okay.
And any other issues.
Thank you very much for your guidance, Mr. Chairperson. So the issue between the Land Act and the Mines Act, I am proposing that wherever there are farming activities, then the Land Act takes precedence. Where there are homesteads, the Land Act takes precedence. But any other part of the farm, let the Mines and Mineral Act takes precedence. I must not be prohibited from entering into any piece of land in this country by anybody claiming to have participated in the War of Liberation. We all participated in the War of Liberation. We all own this land. It belongs to us. We participated indirectly. So we are saying war veterans must be informed, or a piece of legislation must be put in place whereby the issue of war veterans prohibiting Ministry of Mines officials from accessing their farms. This must be taken very seriously. So I think I've made myself very clear.
Okay. We'll go to the next.
The next one, Prohibition Act, Section 96.
Your 5 minutes are up.
Okay, I'm finishing, Mr. Chairman. Prohibition against sale, transfer, cession, assignment of EPL. I propose that this bill must not accept this. This is unacceptable. It infringes upon the issue of property rights. Unless the Constitution of Zimbabwe is going to be amended. Any person who owns any mining claim, as long as they are registered properly, has got the right to sell their mining claims. That's Section 2212, no sale or alienation of precious stones or strategic minerals. Location without approval of the minister. The minister, as I have already told you, that is a political man from a certain political party. He serves the interests of his political party. So I'm saying the minister must not be given those powers. Let MMCZ, Minerals Marketing Corporation of Zimbabwe, take care of that, not the minister. This is putting too much power into the minister. Then the issue of the Small Scale Miners Association. Remove the issue of Small Scale Miners Association and replace it with CSOs, Civic Society Organizations. Because of late we've seen the behavior of the Zimbabwe Miners Federation, the president being involved in scandals. And she goes to court, she remains the president of the organization. Besides the fact that she was supposed to step aside until completion of her court case. Now we are not comfortable with being members of such an association where the image of the president is tarnished. So we are proposing that CSOs, many of them, not one, because by putting us in one basket, we are not comfortable in operating from one basket. Thank you very much. Then last but not least, the issue of security. The issue of security, Mr. Chairman, is of paramount importance. The issue of warlords and korokosas causing havoc in the country because of gold and these other minerals. You've seen what is happening in Mberengwa now. Just
say your solution.
Solution, a parliamentary committee.
In the bill.
In the bill.
Want to enshrine it in the bill.
Yes, let it be put in the bill that a parliamentary, a small committee in Parliament, with the members of Parliament from this bigger committee, which includes the police and the army, because we've seen that our police have failed to deal with the korokosas. Let the army be involved so that we flush out the issue of violence in the mining sector. Otherwise, that's all I can say, Mr. Chairman.
It's okay. You are aware we have got local and international CSOs.
Yes, I'm talking about local CSOs.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Padame Msulu. I represent Veritas. I have 2 points to make, and I will proceed to make them quickly. We would like to have the amended view look into the question of communal lands in terms of the precedence, where miners and those who seek claim have precedence over the people who are already staying there on that land. And we have seen that in the past, where people are being moved from their areas without any adequate compensation, and we think that should be safeguarded, that people who stay in communal areas, they should be safeguarded by the state, that they cannot be moved arbitrarily and without getting some place where they should be relocated. We would also want to the bill to be clear that in an area where it's a communal area, the people who stay in that area, ordinary residents, they should also become beneficiaries of that mining enterprise. And the last point which we have to make, we have had so many mining deals later as an after act. Could we have the bill be very clear that any large mining deal has to be presented before Parliament for scrutiny before it's signed? That is our 2 recommendations, and a detailed recommendation will be put in writing. Thank you, sir.
Maybe you can guide us how you are going to classify a large mining deal. How do you determine that this one is large?
Right. I think you are very aware, Mr. Chair, that we have what we call small claims, which is anything covering probably 10 to 15 hectares, and we have people who have given exclusive prospecting rights to lands which cover more than 100,000 hectares. Anything that is above probably 50 hectares, it needs to be scrutinized through Parliament. It has to be presented through Parliament, because it's rightly unfair and so arbitrary. I think you know you have so many big companies, I would not mention names, who are sitting on prospects which are larger than 100,000 hectares of land.
Yes, sir. Hold on. Point of clarity from Honorable Kashiri.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I just want to find you said that people who would not stay in place should benefit from the investment. How do you propose that they get the investment? They get a percentage here, they become part and parcel of the investment company, so that we really get to your point.
It would be more detailed information we'll give, but suffice to say for now that there are a number of ways in which you can have empowerment for local people. We have had what we call our black economic empowerment, and in South Africa they have what they call the BEE, and we have to look at the components of what, if there are certain resources that can be found within the locality. It doesn't need someone to come from Gurule to go and work in a mine in Bulawayo when what is simply needed is manual power. If there are certain other things which could be probably used for either they are constructing houses, local things, so in terms of the procurement entity, that the mine should be able to procure most of its resources unless if they are not found within that locality.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable members here present. My name is Alec Chimofu. I am a legal practitioner practicing with Brentwood Chambers. I've got a few points that I've noted from the bill. The first being Section 241 of the bill in relation to the right of the holder of a mining lease to compel the owner of a land to sell the land. That, with respect, it appears to be an infringement on the right of private property. It would be correct if we have subsection 1 alone, which says if one is a minor and the owner of the land himself is the one who is saying that my farming activity is being rendered unsustainable because of the mining activity, I therefore should approach the court to compel the minor to purchase. That is fine. But for the minor now who comes onto my property and has a minor claim pegged over my land, then he has it as a right of law to approach the court and have the court compel me to dispose of my property. That would actually be a disguised expropriation of private property. So what I propose is that subsection 2 be stripped off. And secondly, in respect of section 241, you will notice that it jumps the guns. Right from the word go, it says one might approach the court. There is need for the provision of a mutual negotiation by the parties alone. Let's have some sort of a domestic remedy mechanism before parties can jump to approach the court. Thirdly, on that section again, where there is need to determine the price of the value of the land which is being disposed, it should not be determined by the court. The Act subsection 4 says the administrative court will determine the price of the land which is to be disposed. Let's always maintain the separation of powers. The courts, let's confine the court to the resolution of disputes, not to assign a duty for determination of a private property's value to the court. That cannot be done by the court. Let's separate that. That should not be the prerogation of the court. And at the same time, parties should resort to the court as a last resort, where there has not been an agreement reached by the parties, where domestic remedies, which I do not see on that provision, have been exhausted and parties have failed to agree. Then they approach the court. At the same time, there must also be a consideration for the court to take into consideration the objection. If the owner says, I do not want to dispose my land, that should be taken as a way to stop the court from granting the order compelling him to dispose. Let's also be reminded that in terms of the Constitution of Zimbabwe, the right to private is a protected right. We all have rights to hold, acquire, and dispose our properties at the time, when and how we need it. So let's respect that provision, it has to be stripped off. Then the second issue that I wish to make on that bill is in respect of when you look at our Constitution, section 13, subsection 4 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe, it says, the point which was coming out from the last presenter, it says that people from the local communities should benefit from the resources in their areas. I do not see anywhere in the bill where it seeks to promote that provision in the Constitution. Let's have mechanisms which say, for example, as a way of demonstrating, where the application where applications for acquiring mineral rights is being considered, let it be a consideration which will be taken by the PMDC. If the applicant is somebody who is coming from that same community, that should be given as a priority. So it also has to benefit, so that the people from the local community, we do not have to just stay there, but at the same time, we are not benefiting. People are coming, and then you see that the next time I'm being compelled through an order of court to sell and dispose my property to that particular person. We need to have clarity on that one. Then the third issue that I wish to point out is that when one looks at section 247, Section 247 seeks to promote the use it or lose it principle. But when you look at it, it says the person who is to make a report to the PMD that there is a mining claim here which is not being utilized or which might be underutilized, that person has to make a deposit. That is a payment which is imposed as an obligation to the informer. That should actually be stripped off the bill. It is not one which should remain. Otherwise, it contradicts that which we want to achieve. We want to achieve that if the mining claim is not being utilized, we need that mining claim to be repossessed. But if you say, for me to be able to make a report to that effect, I have to make a payment, then if I do not have a payment, what's next? We are defeating that which we are seeking to promote. Then the other point that I wish to make is that when one looks at section 259 of the bill, it seeks to prevent the officials from the mining ministry from holding any mining claim or any mining interest as long as they are workers. In as much as I would try to understand the rationale behind that, but I do not believe that to say if, for example, once you are employed by the mining ministry, you are no longer eligible to acquire a mining claim in Zimbabwe or to have any interest in mining. That would actually be again contrary to the dictates of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. The right to acquisition of property is a right given to all. And I do not believe that working for the ministry itself is a justifiable law of a justifiable application in a democratic society. That is an invasion of the right to acquire property. I propose that there should be better mechanisms that we can employ to ensure that the people within the mining industry or within the mining ministry can actually properly acquire these mining rights. For example, if we could maintain the use of the disclosure register, whereby before one can actually acquire, there is a register that we know within the ministry. We have got officials from the ministry, but we know that if it's, for example, Chimofu is a holder of a claim situated at this particular area, and we see that we develop those mechanisms without entirely saying, if you are a worker, you cannot have a mining interest. Otherwise, the problem that will end up having is that the people who are experienced within the ministry, the moment they see that the bill is not serving our own interest, I see that the chair is up. Can I just have 50 seconds to wrap up my submission? Thank you. They will end up having those people actually resigning and opting to work outside the ministry for them to be able to be eligible. So I propose, honorable members, let's have some mechanisms that we can design and we ensure that whatever we want to achieve by that provision, I understand there are issues of accountability, issues of transparency, and issues to avoid conflicting interests. But we can do that without necessarily forfeiting the right to property, which is accorded also to those who are working in the ministry. Those will be my submissions. Thank you.
Do we have a hand up?
My name is Kwashira Sheunis. I come from Zimbabwe Advanced Biometers Union. After going through the bill, we have noted that on the Mining Affairs Board, the government and the employer is well represented. The Mining Affairs Board isolates the workers through their trade unions. It isolates the CSO, the RRTC. Like the chair said in his opening remarks, the mining industry employs, directly employs about 45,000 employees. So we propose that the workers be represented through their respective trade unions on the Mining Affairs Board. And then my second point is, I believe before issuance of a license, just like the fulfillment of EMA requirements, the board should be supplied with a reasonable agreement between the investor and the catchment communities through traditional leaders. This will help in the communities to benefit, because through that agreement, economic deliverables by the said investor should be highlighted so that all the communities will benefit. We also seek that the board should take into consideration civil society organizations and then traditional leadership. This is in violation of Section 13 Part 4 of the 2013 Constitution, which states to ensure that local communities benefit from resources in their areas. So traditional leaders should also be on the mining affairs board. Those are my submissions.
Before we go,
So, Chair, I just wanted to get some clarity from the presenter. You brought up a very interesting point to say the mining industry employs 45,000 people and we need protection. But we see light to the 45,000 are not registered or formal. How would you propose that the law protect them?
I mean, those, the 45,000 are directly employed by a registered company. But if we take into consideration those that are not registered, the mining industry employs more than 100,000. But the 45,000 we are talking about are employed by registered companies.
So how would you propose to protect them?
They should be represented on the mining affairs board, so their interests will be held and safeguarded.
Sorry, he's saying there must be a workers' union.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
On the mining affairs board.
Yeah.
Representative.
Yeah.
I'll come to you.
Let me speak in Shona. And don't listen for Gary. The chairman of Small Scale Miners, not the ASA, Artists and Small Scale Miners Association. Denominator 1.5 billion small scale miners in Zimbabwe. 98% of small scale miners are not legal as Namawek. And you are not to formalize white in my mind. And also, issue and denial, this chapter are two issues. See, section 259, not allowed to Shande Ministry of Mines, Baone my mines, Yosauna my mines. I think to Shande Ministry of Mines, we should not own mines because it controls the conflict of interest. And also, to create corruption. And also, I was over Rapaz, which is going to so to we say it create corruption. And also, to the Ministry of Mines, and that's what a mine, it's better to add types. I said before the mining and types also pay up and put up a full time office, same shadow Ministry of Mines. And also, no, so any time, there was a miner, same time, some shadow Ministry of Mines. That is a full-time Minister of Mines, not to own a mine, not to tanker. And also section 7, not a panel board. In a tone which is no cause that put a men's affairs board. Don't have to change that and the session which is a peaceful environment right. And also Mines Affairs Board, it's no safety, Panama board, the family, and the corruption church. And also on my board, I was taught to Diana notice out to application about Jimboy. In fact, you could rima. Here I just don't pay. And both were saying saving, but I send 6 and another Senasia, and my farmers, my accountant also, my stable as a Senasia. So also that board was a creator corruption in a way which is no sapeke. We say to say, Saturday about the board, that Saba Pusha chose, but the white. Kupega semapegura kuita izvozvo zvine peace zvine order pasina board the affairs board daisapinde mine administration. Thank you.
Ndonzi Evadingeshe from Zimbabwe Young Miners Foundation. Ndikuda kupawo presentation yangu. Kunyanya presentation yangu focus panyaya mining affairs board. I think kuti the board rishaita bottleneck chaiyo. Izvezvi zviri kunetsa chaizvo kuti munhu uve nebepa rako upiwe license rights ako on time. It takes more than 2 years kuti certificate remunhu ribude pasina kuenda kutombono interviewa or submission yemining affairs board. Kuzoti kana takuzotanga kuita ma applications through mining affairs rinosita kangani board iri. rine ma-applications mangani, the whole of Zimbabwe people want to peg. Saka precedent, say, I think it will take more years for you to acquire your rights. Is it so to need why to reduce way? To down so to say the explanation. Kunyanya kumaminers are per ground. So check and this will merely kumina because mining affairs board is such a gara. So I will continue mine. Ndamai napa mine putika gold. Yokuda makorokoza oya. Kuya ufuti vamwe vanenge vachizviedza vane masimba anodarika vamwe. It will end up takuita zvemabhemba because vanhu vachitanga kufaita and anenge achigona kuno because these are human beings. Anoziva kumba kwe one of the members vari mining affairs board akutomhanya kuti kugoko kwabuda gold itakanditoisa application yangu. We are saying it now but pasina mining affairs board kuzoti yapo I think zvichatotinetsa more. So I suggest that it is stripped off kutobva zvako zvachose kwete kuti timbonegotiata kuti iuye vanhu 7 kana kuti tiwedzere. That's my suggestion. Thank you so much.
Mabata imwe nyaya kuti kubva pauno submita application yako kusvika paunozowana mining certificate hamusi muri kutsutsumwa nenguva yakarebesa yazviri kutora. Saka ndaakudzorera kwamuri kuti mutipewo muono wenyu ipapo kuti munotarisa kuti turnaround time yokuprocessa mining title munotarisira kuti irebe zvakadii mubill ready.
I think pabill ready izvafungwa dzangu are not representing anyone. Ine I think kuti munhu akapiwawo 6 months zviri nani kuti bill by the time yandinosubmitawo maapplications angu within those 6 months wonde ndichiitawo exploration wondichibhadharawo ndichimake sure that everything is on the ground because mining affairs board ichandibvunza kuti une 40,000 here for you to go and invest. Mining yemuno muZimbabwe we are small scale miners. Unenge utori nebhero uchitengesa bhero uchihodha madomasi une musika ndokumwe kune kuchibva mari yauri kuinvesta kumaini kuti unzi izvezvi even equipment yese pamaini hauna mari yacho. That's why we are small scale miners. Tinotobatanidza maybe we are 3 ladies unoona 500 wiki ino targeted is 1,000 every week tichitamba maround. That's how we are operating. Kusvika utazobatawo band even exploration it takes us a long time. Saka kuti tizonzi unganidzai mari zvinonetsa and kuti uzotora 3 years also ndichingonzi ndakamirirawo certificate ndichadzimara ndachera. Saka for us kuti titry kuti motiunganidza towanawo isusu towanawo mukana especially as madzimai okuti tinocherawo zviri peaceful tisingatyiwo mabhemba tichisingatyiwo kunyange vamwe maminers vechirume because vanenge vane mapowers amwe hatisina. Saka tikaitawo maybe 6 months ka I would suggest 6 months. Thank you.
Toenda
ndinoitwawo sifas mori ndakabvumirawo semusoro koti ndikakuwedzera pataura hazanzi yangu nemacertificate. I think tisatapiwa macertificate tabulaya kati inofanira kuva database inofanirwa kunyorwa kuti mingi arigista emani anoona then vobva vapa amwe masimba kuti munhu anofanirwa kufanira kumaina for a certain period because hatina mari tichirikura todawo kuti mufukudze tinyatsokukura tibve kubva pasimo kusvika pamedium. I think nechoko muhomwewo tatinyanyirawo kuti certificate rikudo tofanira kutobudisa about 500 something. Izvo haisi secret kuti ministry of mines kune corruption koini kandisina because kandisina 500 yacho ndakutorerwa kuti samwana angobva from nowhere ane masimba anoziva nemunhu wekuministry. I think panofanira kuitawo something zvinopa kuti tive safe. And also isusu semayouth tifanira kuva included nemamwe maminerals zvakaita selithium hatifanira kupiwa chigokora so kukandiwa kwiwe anomaona tifanira kuva included mune zvese tifanira kushandirawo nyika sevanhu vechidiki because maresources atinawo they are non-renewable tifanira kubenefita like takutorwa sema-second class citizens anomaona munhu akabva kure anokwanisa kumaina peaceful than inini local anomaona tofanira kuva included semalocal zvakanyanya kuti tibatsire nyika yedu.
atiri kunota kuitwa kwekutanga mukorokoza how the country is being degraded. Ukafamba unoona pari kungocherwa pese pese, and we are asking kuti daiwo kwaiswa mutemo wekurakidza kuti kune areas that are protected dzisingafanirwi kuti dziitwe mining, like pamabridge, rivers. That also includes government. I think there are some concessions that have been given to international companies to mine in rivers. We've got Mazoe here, for an example, and many other rivers. But I think the agreement was when they do that mining, they must then reclaim and make sure that there is a river after their mining. But that the locals, as well as those internationals who are coming, there is no one who is policing that. Our country, we are going to leave nothing for the generations that are coming. Our own proposal, they are also doing that, but I think these things must be regulated through Parliament. As well, the issue the executive, we believe that the executive is also involved in granting and withdrawing my rights, my mineral rights, and so forth. We believe that should be left to, a Committee of Parliament or a committee of Parliament, so that the arm of the executive that comes, into that, so that our minerals are not going to be moving outside, to other multinationals or multilaterals. We also suggest that these mining rights may they also be given or granted through public tendering, so that there is transparency in whatever is happening. Also, we include that number 4, that minerals be declared all of the national assets for the benefit of every Zimbabwean. I think others have already alluded to the fact that if we have in an area someone gets my claims there, the nationals in that, they must all benefit. We don't know whether it is still happening, where we have got companies that have promised that they are going to help develop, the areas where they are mining. But we think that is something of paramount importance. We notice that maybe the Rhodesian bylaws is still effective and working in our, in our laws, where the colonizers, they used to come and say, if we find a mineral in your area, be it a farm or reserve, then you are chased away from that. And that has been perpetuated
But we propose that, we have new legislation that makes sure that if I have a farm, if we have, a communal area, if someone comes into my field, that should be left to me, and no one should be granted, a mineral right in my farm or in my area. I thank you.
Do we have a hand?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Anderson Magawa, and I'm from Amosa Institute of Occupational Safety and Health. My point is on section 182E, which provides for the compensation of landowners. If you look at the whole section 180, the establishment of, let me just quickly refer here, the establishment of provincial environment and occupational safety trust. The main objective of that trust will be to help and assist miners in ensuring the safety and health of those that are working for them and those that are working in that area. But on section 182, it is saying the amount that that trust will be collecting will be made to contribute towards the compensation of owners or occupiers of land. I'm thinking that if we allow that money meant to protect the health and safety of workers, ending up compensating landowners, we might have a problem, and we might actually end up shifting the purpose of which that money is being collected and ending up using it to compensate those landowners. Let there be another provision somewhere else in the Act which provides for the compensation of those landowners who may be affected then. Secondly, on the compensation side of injuries and occupational diseases, we already have SI 68, which provides for the compensation of occupational injuries and diseases. So I'm thinking creating such a fund again might be duplication, because the SI 68 of 1990 is already covering. We have it already. Employers are already paying towards the accident prevention and workmen's compensation scheme through NASA. So this fund might be a duplication. I am thinking that let's have this fund there, but focusing on the prevention side. Whilst the NASA, the SI 68 is taking care of the compensation when someone is injured or is ill, let this fund focus on the prevention of injuries in the mining sector. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Basically, we're not allowed to applaud or second. I think it's a little bit strange. In Africa, we don't do that, Mr. Chairman. I rise in the point of privilege. There is help available for artisanal, small and large miners in case of disasters, floods, and other things. And I want to encourage and also to make sure and to make a recording in this meeting that Robert Zendoga at Mural Mining has helped small miners when there are disasters, mainly in Kadoma, fishing people out of the villages. So Robert Zendoga at Mural Mining has been very good to all of you. But let's keep the standards. And the second thing is, the mining conglomerates have a mining closure plan that is very clear into beneficiation. Another thing that I wanted to say just quickly is the fact that beneficiation takes into consideration the welfare and the estate of the workers in the mine. I think, Mr. Chairman, we come a long way together with small and bigger mining consortiums. But as well, please let us also make sure that, I'm surprised here there's no one represented from AMA, from the Director General, but nevertheless, there is help available for mine closure plans as well as disaster mitigation plans. Robert Ziloka, the of mine has been very good to all of you. We only need you. We only need us when things go wrong. I've always said, but thank you very much for all of you for coming. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Chairman and members of Parliament. Thank you for taking time with the Oneo. But before I make my suggestions on the bill, the name is Namo Dinesi Mkondo. I represent myself. I also represent the family trust, Mkondo Family Trust. Before I actually suggest a few things, I'd like to ask why this information of this hearing was not disseminated well enough. I saw WhatsApp on a WhatsApp mining group. You talked about section 141 of the Constitution. Section C, it says, but it must be, the notice must be fair, reasonable, and justifiable. Openness, justice, human dignity, equality, and freedom. I'll ask a very simple question. The MP from UNP, your people in Sowan know. Do you think when you India agenda cook makar? Simple. This affects everybody. Managa rota hope, doti pane gold. Uno chiraona pane gold. A lot of people tell you, small scale miners will tell you. Even the big mines, that's how they found the big gold mines. Please, I don't know how you can make that happen. The Constitution of Zimbabwe took 3 years, over 4,000 public consultations. This is very important. As you rightfully said, the Chairman, we're changing from colonial to present and to the future. You need to make sure everybody knows and has contributed. Right now, your bill is talking about someone in a village somewhere made a decision whether a guy that comes from, let's say, from Mutare can peg in Mberengo. I'll use Mberengo as a good example. We will end up, the way it is now, we'll end up having a lot of issues of tribalism. I come from a Shonaland who will not be able to peg in Blower. I already know, we already have those problems. So that you need to take care of within the bill in terms of how decisions are made, who makes decisions as to who can come and mine in our area.
Please be specific. Can you make a proposition? Who should make that decision in the bill? That's what we want to hear from you.
As the lady said, right now, PMT makes that decision, and it's simpler that way. The only problem is that they take a long time. I have applications from 2015 that have not been approved.
To that time again, what time are you expecting?
If they can approve it within 3 months, it doesn't take that long. Because the person that actually pegs is registered by the Ministry of Mines. So they know the law, they know the rules. Why should it take so long? If they don't trust the pegger, they must tell you, this pegger we don't trust. Then this is a recommended pegger. If that pegger comes in and hands in the documentation, it's the Minister of Mines pegger because they license the pegger. I don't want to talk about, someone highlighted about...
We've captured, you proposed 6 months, you are proposing...
Within 3 months. Within 3 months, because you can't be sitting there. That's what, 3 months or even shorter if possible. Okay, I think I'll go into the proposals that I really want to go to talking about the 100 hectares you talk about in Section 35. Section 35 is what I really am here for. The 100 hectares. You're talking about moving from colonial to present and the future. Where does 100 hectares come from? Do we know why they chose 100 hectares before? To say, if it's got a minimum of 100 hectares and below, you've got to have permission from the landowner. Do we know? I'm seeing even in Section 36, they're talking about RDC can maximize to a maximum of 100 hectares for grazing. 100 hectares, that's 20 more. That's nothing. Can we do something about it? Why do we have to have a limit as to if land has an offer letter? Someone is in possession of that land. You can't just walk in. Where there's 300 hectares. On my 300 hectare farm. You've trespassed. If you don't have my permission, whether I've got 300 hectares or less, at least 100 hectares, you're saying you have to have a letter. But if I've got 300 hectares, which I have, more than that. But I'm saying, if you walk into my land, I've got a fence around the land. There's one road, one public road that goes through. One. If you take any road off, it's my road. You come in with a letter to say I don't know what you come in with. The pegger comes in or prospector. Prospecting is not just walking in and saying I'm going to put a peg there, I'm going to put a peg there. Proper prospecting, you actually dig around, you look at outcrops, you come with the geology, you do proper work. This is in the middle of where my Brahmins are grazing. Because I've got more than 100 hectares. So I'm proposing this 100 hectares.
Just hold on.
Yeah.
If you want to seek clarification.
Yeah.
Let's take the proposal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With your full indulgence, Mr. Chairman, fellow Zimbabweans, I think what matters most on this forum is to come up with the proposals with regard to the sections that you feel is the best for the country. Be it the counter, you put across the counter. It will be good for the progress of this meeting to happen. That's the noble idea as to why we are here. Thank you so much, fellow Zimbabweans.
So for the 100 hectares, my proposal is that it should be scrapped. Because whether it's an offer letter or it's private land, it's someone's land. So if you go to that land, you're trespassing. Even if let's say in Harare, city of Harare has the right to come to your house. Zes has the right, but they knock on your gate. Kumapraz, fine. There's just a boom gate, sometimes there's no gate. I don't know, we need to look at that 100 hectares issue. If you're going on to
just profile your proposal,
yes, okay.
Then
100 hectares, that should be scrapped. Any land out there has someone owning it.
Then
that's section 35.
What do you propose?
Propose that any prospector or anyone wanting to do mining or to research or do whatever on someone else's land, they must have permission from the owner. They must have permission from the owner. Whether it's got 300 hectares or 1,000 hectares, you can't just walk into someone's property. That's trespass. Right, on section 35, it talks about 35G, it talks about a provision of contiguous holdings. The offer letters that are there, they're actually farms that have been split into plots, etc., etc. According to this, the contiguous holdings, it means those farms or the farms are actually owned by the president, by the state. So anyone with an offer letter who's got 50 hectares, they're not covered. Because this talks about contiguous holdings. If you have contiguous holdings of 100 hectares or more, which means all state land, you don't need permission. That's what it's saying. Because if it's state land, if you have an offer letter, it's state land. The next person to you, if you add those, it's all state land. They're all owned by one. And that's what the law is saying. So if we want to make sure that someone who's got an offer letter has got 50 hectares, we need to be more precise on that. Because the farms as they are the old farms, 1,000 hectares, 2,000 hectares. The small plots have not been put into the cadastral system as farms, they are plots. So that, I think that section needs to be looked at as well. And then, fortunately, touched on section 241 about private land, where you end up being forced to sell your land to the miner. I think that one, they will write a paper on that, that's fine. Then on section 37, right, someone comes in, they pay a special broker is under 50 hectares. You've got a 300 hectare farm. Are you going to be compensated for not being able to exercise.
Please wind up, your time is up.
Okay. Compensation to anyone who owns land where a mine has been paid. How is that going to be dealt with? It's not covered in this whole thing, in the bill. Thank you.
Am I right?
Indron's Walter Crystal Kawai, the National Chairman of Zimbabwe Johnstone Association. Ndinoda kutaura pamusoro precious minerals. Tikatarisa nyaya yema-strategic minerals, chinhu chakangoitwa chiripo report na minister. Inyaya yaida kugarirwa pasi kuti vanhu vanyatsobuda nehwaro hwakanaka. Sei ndinoda kutaura pamusoro pelithium. Ndafara ndichinzwa kunzi muna MP wekusowa muno. MP makadini kubhuku kwakunditsungira munokuziva. Ini ndakasvika ikoko ndichitevera machaina ari pasowa, takumbirwa nevanhu nokuti imomo munoitwa zvemajekistones. Tikanotarisa zita rekambani yemachinese akanga ariko, vakaenda vakanorima minda yevanhu. Tine mavhidhios akaratidza vakachera makuva matatu vachivhura mugero mumunda. Minda ikwenyu hakuna minda kakusaidwe, vanhu vanogara vakateremuka kudai. Pakavhurwa minda yevanhu nemaescavators. Tikasvika tikabvunza kuti izvo
muri
vanesandira kuti babati ndozodzoka kwandobuya
ndatokuzwai muri kubudisa nyaya dziri kubata nharaunda dzatinogara dziri muchema. Saka chandokumbira ndechekuti mutaure kudambudziko iroro kuti munoda kuti rigadzirwe sei.
Ndiri kuuya ndakunzwa chaizvo cheya ipapo ndinotitendera ndokuti kana munogona kunga mangwana kwenyu kune escaveta yakavhura maguva. Nyaya iyoyo yaitika takasvikiwa. Kambani yatakawana ipo yakavhura makuva evanhu yakarejestwa kudomboshava, asi Ministry of Mines yataurirwa yairegera vanhu vachichera ipapo. Toda kutaura nyaya dzeuori necomposition yemabhodhi yamanzwa yakutaura. Vanhu havasi kurotomoka, vanhu vari kutaura zvinhu zviri kuitika. Nyika yaurawa neshoko muhomwe nokuda kwemaomero akaita kunze. Zvatiri kuda kutaura ndezvekuti dombo rikanzi strategic mineral rabuda pagere vanhu. Vanhu ivavo vakaiswa ipapo naMwari namadzitateguru avo. Let them be the major beneficiaries zvezvinhu zvaitika ipapo. Hurumende ngaichiisa muravo wokuti vanhu ivavo vanochera sei vakarongeka. Ndakasvika escaveta yakagara mundo womunhu ari kuti akarima from 1937. Kana muravo wemastrategic minerals waiswa, dombo rabuda munogara vanhu. Muno munyika tine vanhu vakadzidzira zvinhu. Vanhu ngavarongwe, vachere. Hurumende kana itumira MMCZ kunotenga dombo iroro, ngarichitengwa richibva kuvanhu vagere munzvimbo kana dombo rabuda ipapo. Vanhu voronga kuti vacherwe zvakasununguka. Lithium is radioactive. Asi vanhu ngavachidzidziswa kuti dombo rabuda pano ipo munorichera nenzira yakati, vanhu varongeka. Vanhu vopega nzvimbo idzodzo vadye ifa renyika yavo. Kwete kuti tonzi tiri varidzi venyika torarama tiri maroja, kwete. Muravo wamuri kugadzira vamukaratirwa ngaucherechedze vanhu vagere munzvimbo. Vanhu ivavo kana mabuda dombo ngavarongeke, vapege nzvimbo. Havatadze kupega nzvimbo idzi. It's only $75 kuti munhu apege. Vanhu ivavo ngavapege nzvimbo. Hurumende kana yaona kuti vanhu ivavo havana ruzivo, ngaivape ruzivo rwokuchera dombo vatengese vaite mari. Ndochinhu chokutanga pamastrategic minerals. Hakuna dombo rinonzi strategic pamatombo anaona akanyorwa kuti rinotadza kucherwa kana nemuporoposa. Kopa inotangira pamusoro, kuchera yozikanwa percentage yayo yakukwanisa kuwana price yekuti itengeswe. Saka kopa ibvisei pamastrategic minerals. Lithium ibvisei pamastrategic minerals. Vanhu ngavarejeste matombo iwayo vachere vaite mari. Ndozvinoreva kuti uri muZimbabwe. You must make money out of your own resources. Saka munhu akazi haugone kupega nokuti chaita strategic, strategic ngaichitangira kuti hurumende ine vanhu vakadzidzira mabasa vovaka mafekitari ndokwatakuda mainvesta kumafekitari vanogadzira mabhatiri. Ini kawara ndichichera dombo ndichidya mari yemuno wari kubva kunze uku ngaachibva woyo vakafekitari ndokunozorwa ndisingagoni kugadzira bhatiri kwete kuti kuchera matombo ayandangira pamusoro kusowani ndakapasvika regerai vanhu vachera vanhu ngavatenderwe kupega vanhu ngavapuhwe nguva yokupega dombo rabuda endai muone kuti vanhu varongwa iri zvakanaka pamwedzi miviri nemutatu vanhu ngavabatsirwe vapega. Hurumende iwo makambani anobva kunze atiri kuti isusu mainvestors hurumende inosara ine tax chete murawo webusiness unoti kudii ane mashares ndiye anotakura mari achienda nayo. Saka tiri kugadzira here mukadzi anorarwa nomumwe ndinokubvisa mombe mudanga anoenda naye ndomumwe ndizvo here. Nyika ngaigadzire murawo inoprotekta vanhu vayo. Imimi semaparliamentarians munobva mumaconstituencies mune vanhu munowanikwa matombo aya. Chengetedzai kodzero dzevanhu venyu kwete kutaura chirungu cheforeign direct investment achishande nokuti dombo rabuda pana sekuru wangu ngandichitenderwa kuti ndipege ipapo. Imwe nyaya inoda kutaura tichipega Ministry of Mines ngaive nemari dzinochadwa vanhu dzakasiyana. Kana ndiri chizvarwa chemuno ngandichadwe mari yokupega shoma. Uyo ari kubva kunze mutemei nedemoko kondo inonzi wakandinzwa nani. Saka kana inini ndiri muno ndichinzi wakudiwa $1 million for strategic mina yokuti lithium yakudire mumunda mangu ndobhadhara $1 million. Ari kubva kunze nokuti ane $1 million wouya kuzotora zviri mumunda mangu. Are we justified? I don't know. That's such laws that we should have in this country. We fought for this country to be free. We fought for this country in order for us to enjoy the resources of this country. We don't have any other Zimbabwe to move and go to. This is the Zimbabwe we have. Why can't we enjoy it? Let us prescribe laws that protects the interests and rights of Zimbabweans. And that way we move forward. Ndikawana mari nhasi kana ikanzi 2 million apo. Kana ndikaita upenzi hwokudya inoenda kune Zimbabwe mari inoshanda muno munyika. Uyo wamuri kufara kuti musa pama-TV nemunizwa kuti amhara aita izvi ari kutakura mari achienderera kunyika yake. Zvinotibatsirei? Ndofudza mombe yemukaka yandisingakame. Handizive kuti mukaka unonaka sei. That is not fair to us. Let us come with laws that protect our interests. Now kudzokera kuma-gemstones. That's my area of specialization. That's what I do for a living. Kuma-gemstones tine dombo rinonzi emerald. Emerald inonzi is a precious stone haicherwe. Iri kubuda pari kubuda aquamarine ndodii. Ipapo murawo pama-precious stones ngautendere kuti kana emerald rabuda pandiri kuchera anofanirwa kubatwa nemurawo semunhu wokunze. Nganditenderwe kutaura hurumende kuti pano pabuda emerald ndopega nemari yepasi pasi. Hurumende yozohwina pane zviri kubva mukutengeswa kweemerald. Kwete kuti tanga kuomesera zvinhu chisati chatengeswa. Tishande nokuti zvinhu zviri kubva. Toya kuma-diamonds, we classify them as precious stones. Vanhu vari kutamba nawo nhodo ma-diamonds but havagone kuuya kuzotaura hurumende nokuti hurumende iri kuisa murawo unodzinga vanhu. Pataura munhu achigoni rinorotswa. Matomba vanhu vanaro taya munhu achinotora diamond rarotswa. Imi moda kutaura murawo utanga waunza $1 million kuti utiudze kuti pani pari kubuda diamond rinouya. 95% of some precious stones and gemstones are sold out of this country through unorthodox means. Why? Because we have repressive laws. Ngatigadzirei murawo inosvika test yenyika yedu. Tikadaro tasumudzira nyika nevanhu vedu. Ma-emerald anobuda matinochera. But murawo ngauchigadzirwa pa-precious stones kuti kana rabuda pari kuchera munhu siyai nyaya yenyu yamataura yokuti kunouya mumwana kuzopega ipapo. Nai zvingaitika nganditenderwe. Hatidi kusimagura dombo, hatidi kutengesa matombo zvisiri pamurawo. Nganditenderwe kuchera emerald kana rabuda pamugodhi wandiri kuchera. Ndouya naro kuMMCZ ndauya nedombo iri. Todii? Ngaritengwe, ngapapegwe, ngandishande zviri pamurawo. hurumende ngaisumudzire chikamu chevanhu vari kukura muzvicherwa, ngapaiswe mari parutivi inobatsira masmall scale nemaartisanal miners kuti vasumuke, nokuti ndiyo nhaka yenyika. Vamuri kutaura kuti vauya nemari vachibva kundo vari kubetuta yese ichienda, isosara tiine tax yacho iri kudiwa. Kuna ana mutoko makazogranade yakasiya chi gore rese 45,000, asi dombo diki diki roenda kuSweden kunotengeswa ne$9.5 million. Are we being sensible? There is something wrong in our minds. Ngatigadzirei chinhu chinobatsira isu kuti tisumuke, kwete kuungana pano tichitaura kuti naye mukadzi achaenda nani wokunze aiwa tiri kuda nhaka inosara muri munyika. Kuma-gemstones ndiri kukumbira kuti pamurawo iwo weregistration nezvimwe $50 ngaingokwana zvese sezvinoitwa kunana Tanzania. It's only $50. Munhu aregister apo certificate akushanda, nyika yowana kubva mune zvekubuda pasi, ndokwainoraramira. Zvino tikaomesa murawo zvinhu zvichangoramba tisina chatinosara nazvo. Saka nyaya yemastrategic minerals tibvisirei lithium ipapo, tibvisirei kopa ipapo, nokuti tinotamba nazvo kwatinenge tiri kunzoka. Ngatitenderwe kupega izvozvo. Ari kubva kunze uyu aiwa rova ipasi petsoka ndezvenyu, asi kana munotenderai vanhu kuti lithium yakazara Zimbabwe, hapana pasina lithium. Murawo iwoyo ngaibviswe pano strategic minerals, moisira vari kubva kunze. $1 million ibvisei, isu tiisireiwo yedu mari yatinokwanisa. Manzwa musikana achaudi hanzi tinoruka mabheri kutengesa mukaka. Then ndaakuda kuti ndipedze panyaya yemining affairs board, ngatiregei kuda kubvarirana panze. Iye zvino maregistration manzwa kuti ari kutora tine 3-4 years isati awana certificate. Zvozonzi kwaakuiswa board rino mumwe ari kubva kubhuruwayo mumwe kwamutare, vanobatana nguva yevanhu kuti vanhu vapuhwe mapepa. Iye zvino ma-PMD ndaona muchapa simba, muri kuapa simba risiri. Vapei simba rokuti kana vabva kuinspection certificate ngaibude zuva iroro. Nyika iri kurasikirwa nezvinhu. Certificate hari pana kutomboita mwedzi risati rabuda. In less than a month munhu ngaapuhwe certificate rake kana inspection yaitwa. Vanhu vashandire nyika. Saka
kubva pakuaplya kusvika
kubva pakuaplya ngazvitore mwedzi. Kubva pakuaplya kusvika pakupa munhu certificate ngazvitore mwedzi. Mumwe chete munhu woenda kubasa, nyika yorarama mazviko.
Mabata nyaya dzakati wandei. Tanzwa kuti pama-strategic minerals muri kuti definition yacho kana kuti zvicherwa zviri kuiswa ipapo pabvise zvamadoma. Handiti
ndizvozvo
ndo zvamuda kuti tigadzire mutemo tichitaura.
Vanhu vatenderwe kupega izvozvo.
Eka zvangobviswa ipapo sekutaura kwamuri kuita zvobva zvadi zvapinda munhau yechipiri yamataura. Nhau yamataura ndeempowerment, handi ndizvo?
Ndizvozvo.
Neaccess
ndizvozvo
kuvanhu nje venyika, handizvo? Vari munharaunda iyo ine zvicherwa. Ndiri kudzokorodzera kuti zvinyatso kukeptwa kana tisina kukunzwai mubve matidi mangoti dyo, handitika. Saka zvazvinoreva ndezvokuti mabata nhau yeempowerment model. Muri kuda kuti bhiu redu ritaure nezveempowerment, handitika. Saka kupa vanhu access yepokuchera muri kuti empowerment neimwe nzira, handitika. Then mozoti kune vamwe kunze vanenge vachiva munharaunda yacho vachida kuchera, muri kuti aiwa empowerment ngaive kuvana veimomo, access ngaive kuvana veimomo, handitika. Asi tocherechedza towanawo kuti mataxi amuri kutaura zvishuwa hurumende inomada, handitika. Ngaitwe nemazvo uori mataura kuti hakudiwi ngahubve, handitika. Asi totarisa panodiwawo mari dzakawanda kuti zvicherwa zvizhinji zvinyatso kucherwa. Saka nyaya yeempowerment toti tikabva paaccess pane chimwe chinhano chiri kuda nyaya yeempowerment. Imi mati paownership yevana vari munharaunda iyo ine zvicherwa ngavave neownership. Ndokuda kuti mungoclarify kuti muri kuti vave ne100% ownership kunyangwe vasina chavanacho here, kana kuti pova neminimum threshold mobva maitaura kuti ngaive percentage yakati kuti pangaitwa partnership dei mwana kana kuti vana kana macommunities emunharaunda imomo vabvumirwe kuva nethreshold minimum yakati kuti ndo vanoitora. Vaya vanobva kunze kana kuti vanobva kupi vozotutsira poita business arrangement inenge ichiinda maringe nemitemo yemunyika. Basa roitwa vanowana pavanenge vachiwana vowana pachichekwa. Toda kuti muclarify zvamataura makanangana neipapo vanokepcha vachikepcha muchidii zvamataura manyatsotsanangura. Saka muchiregai kudzokorodza vanhu vazvinzwa. Tomoda izvozvo panyaya yeempowerment tichipinza mubheu redu kuti moda kuti izvibate sei zvazvisimo zvinemo kuti igepu ramaona kuti harimo.
Panyaya yeempowerment pane pandotanga ndajekisa peya kupercentage. Kana munhu ari uno muZimbabwe chero kwaaenda kumusha kwake ndinoona kuti discrimination kungosa. Taakutaura kuti iye wemuZimbabwe nevana vari munharaunda tasvika taakuda kushanda basa. 35% would be a very reasonable percentage yokuti mucommunity ipuwewo nevanenge vachichera imo. Sei tadaro? Mishini mizhinji yatinotaura kana ikauya ichichera zvinhu izvi kuti zvibude. Kune mamwe matombo atiri kutaura hakuna process yakanyanya kuziva percentage yedombo dombo rakuenda kumusika.
Ndakunzwai ndandimoda percentage 35%. Asi ndichida clarification zvakare muri kuipa kucommunity andizvamuchitaura ndizvozvo. Saka community ndorobata here yakazvimiririra kana tiri kuti hurumende ndo inenge yakabata 35% yacho yose vogoverana kuti hurumende inogumira apa mu35 community yogumira 1 kana pane maindividual wogumira apa kana kuti murungoti community inobata 35 yozvionera hamudi hurumende padhuze. Toda kuti munyatsojekesa.
Hurumende hatigone kuira 35% kana ichienda community hurumende ngaigwe 5%
mu35
imomo ngaigwe 5%.
Hatingotsvaga pfungwa dzenyu ndofunga mubvunzo wangu wajeka pamaprecious stones. Pfungwa dzenyu tanyatsokudzinzwa dzabuda. Regai titi mutemo watiri kugadzira sezvandambotaura unobata nyaya dzekuchera nyika yose jekerere. Handitika asi kune imwe mitemo yatisingakwanisi kuti tivandudze yatichazovandudza kana uyu wava mutemo wasandura zvinoda kusanduka iwo itozokwanisa kubata mutemo wemaprecious stones zvozonyatsokupinda. Tichazoita kuti mamwe mapublic hearings kana wapera iwoyo anozonyatsojekesa nawo dzamuri kutaura. Asi zvamatipa njere dzenyu tadzinzwa dzakeptwa.
Muri ipapo mandibatsira pane pandanga ndasiya. Thank you very much. Tiri kuda kuti tiwane mufananidzo wenyika yakafanana neSierra Leone. Sierra Leone madiamonds ari alluvial vanhu vanotenderwa kuchera. Apo panobuda nedomba poiswa munhu wehurumende. Gore rakapera paseri vanhu vozvavo vaichera vakachera 740,000 carats dzikaenda kuhurumende. Ndo matombo akafanana munanachiyadzwa munanachimbanaiti. It's alluvial diamonds. Maalluvial diamonds muno munyika akawanda. Vanhu ngavatenderwe imomo munenge mawanikwa imomo. Vari mumacommunities iwayo vorongwa muzvikwata vochera. Hurumende iripo yakaisa ziso rayo. Panobuda nedombo hurumende yotsvaga anotenga vanhu vachiwana chouviri. Kwete kungoti tungoti chete it's a precious stone but vanhu vachitamba nhondo nazvo kunze mazviti.
Takuhwai pane vamwe vane dzimwe pfungwa here vatisati pamukana. Amai
maita henche indonzi maina nyonga nevimaina yemagemstones nembesinara. Ini chandiroda kuti ndikumbire portfolio yedu iri pamberi tinokutendai nebasa ramuri kuita. Chandinoda kuti ndiwedzere pane zvekutaurikika ndechekuti tinokumbirawo kuti sekomiti kana iri Ministry of Mines kana fanga muri imi nekuti imini muri body iri kurepresenta munhu wese tiri kukumbirawo macharges yeEMA ma-EAI report EMA charges RDC macharges avo pane imwe inotobhadharisa $575 inobva kupi uchitanga kuita mining. Vamwe kupfuura uku vanotoita no charge, vodzisa maybe 10 days. Saka tiri kukumbirawo through your offices say kuti pamacharges ari kuitwa nemabodies edaya, because they are important bodies in mining, vanotibatsira kuti tiregulate kuti mbudzi mombe hadziuye pane mishonga pane chi, asi maprice avo itai kuti imimi munge murimi munoita kuti zvigaziswe mozvipasisa through parliament kuti maprices avo asakwire. Maitai.
My comment is on farmer-miner relationship. Ndazwa pano vakutaurawo vachiti 100 hectares show masterage kuti vape asina kuwana consent. In my view, kuti munhu apiwe consent pese paanoda kupega handifuni kuti ndingave nemining, because handifuni kuti kuna fama anombobvuma kuti mufama make mumaina. Saka since it's the government inofanira kubenefita more in mining, both mining and agriculture, I think farmer na miner they have to coexist, and miner anofanira kupega inini hangu in my opinion tofunga kuti miner anofanira kupega sezvaaingoita kuti if it's above 100 hectares anofanira kupega okunotify, haasi kukumbira consent, anongokunotify as a farmer kuti tiri kupegawo mumunda menyu, since isiri arable pari kupegwa pacho hapazi arable. Makutaura henyu zvegrazing chi, but since pasiri arable government inofanira kubenefita kuti ipapo, because mafarms acho akawanda they are idle. Government inofanira kubenefita ipapo, whether it's mining or it's farming. I don't know kana ndawa clear.
Toda zvisina kumbotaura nguva dzedu dzinenge dzakurikidza vari kumashure apo.
Nekuti zvikuratidza kuti nyika yese yakanise vanhu vanoita vakuru maguta ari mazita touya pamwe munhu agona akareserva area achida kuita port inobva ndauya ndichida kuinvesta esimineral ubvaudza kuti nzvimbo ine ipiwo vakwanise kuipenga kana kuita sei. Nezvaongororwa zvaonekwa kuti uyo akatanga kuisa ipiwo anoda kushandisei, ichida kushandisei, chinogona chiri chinhu chakurumidza chichiita saka ipiwo yedu yanyanyatsoongororwa time dayadzoka nekazana 5 years atomugana kuuza kana aine minaro yaenda kudzera papa agona kushandisa here vanhu vaarisevhanga in time kuitira vamwe asavharire vamwe mainvesta funds.
Pane point andinotitsigira yataura baba kuti eZimbabwe tinozvatokwanisa kuita tendencies like atina kuenda mivesa anozocharizia